Modern man soak, modern love, modern lies, cutting through the illusion.
Call me old-fashioned, or I've been out of the dating pool for a long time. But I decided today I was going to give it a try. I had a little lunch date today, right? And I'm one of those ones, I still believe a man has a role and a woman has a role when it comes to relationships, situationships, whatever you call it nowadays. And I'm sitting there and we order our food and we just having a casual conversation. This Negro had the audacity to ask me, what do I bring to the table? I don't know what type of YN question that is, but for a man that has, I'm gonna say this, for a man that is financially stable, emotionally stable, mentally, physically, whatever you may call it, know their role as a man, and a woman knows her role. So for a guy to ask me that question, everything that I just said, somewhere he's not there. So my response to him was, apparently another nigga. What the fuck type shit going on right here? I can't be that goddamn old. What these the type of question these men out here asking. I mean, for real? When y'all start doing that?
Let's break down this post-wall woman's video because it's laughable. It is laughable, IMO, in my opinion, okay? And we're going to break it down first with the old-fashioned delusion, okay? She claims to be old-fashioned, but this woman is not married. If you look at data from the Bowling Green State University research, you can go ahead and Google that. By the 1960 in the United States of America, 65.4% of women were married. Okay, that means that this woman who's in her 40s, her great-great-grandma, her great-grandma, and her grandma, and all the grandpas in between, they were married individuals. And those women coming from that time period were old-fashioned women. Amen. As far as this woman goes, she's in her 40s. So much for being old-fashioned because you are still single. You hit the wall, and the wall hits hard. Okay? And this brings me to my second point, the dating game. The point of dating is to screen, and I'm putting it simply, is to screen the difficult person from the easygoing person. The first date is an interview. If you look at data from Psychology Today, statistics say that exclusivity requires 20 hours of together time. An example of that would be 5 dates at 4 hours each, but I'm going to be nice and include face-to-face dates and also phone calls and texting because people text and do phone calls these days, so not everybody's available to do 4-hour dates. In my opinion, that's way too long, and for the man, sometimes way too much money. But on average, 20 hours time, which means the first date does not mean you go exclusive and become boyfriend and girlfriend. It's going to take a lot more than that because you have to get to know the person, okay? In this instance here, the first date they go on, the man asks her a question. What do you bring to the table? And she does not like that question. She was deeply offended, which brings me to my last point, and that is dating is an interview. When you really break down dating to its core, okay, it is an interview process. You guys pick a place, you meet there, you converse, and you figure out, does this person fit into my life and do I fit into their life? Do I like their personality? Do they like mine? Are they combative? Are they ignorant? Are they mean? Etc., etc., etc. And during that process, men and women will test each other, or what I like to say, put out some feelers to see how the other person would react to maybe a statement, a comment, an action, etc., etc. And if you cannot handle what they just threw at you, then that is going to indicate to the other person that, I don't like that reaction, or I don't like the way they told me whatever it is that they told me. And then you get a flag, let's call it a red flag for that person. In this instance here, the man says, what do you bring to the table? This 40-year-old woman who's been on this planet for over 40 years, I'm sure has tact, I'm sure has some banter, I'm sure is clever, I'm sure she's maybe a little bit of a jokester. She has some personality to her. Let's be real. After 40 years on this planet, you have to have that. But instead of playing along with it, even if he was serious, she could have used banter. She could have maybe asked him, is that a rhetorical question? Many, many ways she could have responded to that question, but instead she gets offended. She gets very offended at what he said. And that man, like I said before, took note of that and raised the red flag and probably said, you know what? She's not a very playful person. Or you know what? She gets triggered very easily. I don't want a woman like that is triggered by things that I say and ask. You see what I'm saying? And then on top of being offended, I don't think the date really went any longer than maybe 30 minutes after that, right? They probably got some drinks. The guy said, you're not getting dinner or you're not getting lunch. We're leaving. After the fact, she then goes online and posts a video about it. That to me is childish, okay? So the man met a woman who was childish and a woman who was not easygoing. So he essentially dodged a bullet, in my opinion. She met him with negativity, and nobody wants that, which is why this 40-year-old woman who has hit the wall is currently single, and unless she understands how dating works, how putting out feelers works, how the whole process works, she will remain that way until she gets a cat and many bottles of wine. That's all I got for you guys today. Follow the White Rabbit, Modern Man Soak, like, sub, share, comment. Let me know what you guys think. And we're on to the next one.